beginning, we were just struggling. You know, you managed to squeeze one Afrobeat song in maybe 2 hours of your play as a DJ. And even when you play it, people are going to come at you and say, man, guy, what's going on? What's this? You know,
True.
people used to refer to it like, you know, low level. And I think it was a whole mentality of Nigerians at that time. Nigerians were fond of feeling like anything Nigerian was local and wasn't cool. So anything Western is, you know, it's ape, and, you know, so people really weren't buying into Nigeria, even with the fashion and everything.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it took a while, you know, and consistent, you know, trying to push it to people. But mainly, I think, you know, the acceptance mainly, or the opportunity or the platform to really place this, to place the music in the right mindset for people to accept was in the mid-90s mainly, with the advent of CDs, when, okay, we could put the music on CD, DJ could DJ with CDs at that time. So the music was now coming more into the mix as against earlier when it was strictly vinyl. And the songs weren't coming. On vinyl, the song, I don't know who was pressing vinyls around there at that time. Production was terrible, and they were usually very heavy. One Nigerian vinyl is like the weight of 3 Michael Jackson vinyl, you know, so,
yeah.
you know, so, and then the production is not, you know, was a bit below par, you know, so at that time, it wasn't easy for anyone to single-handedly run a record label. You know, so you need to be signed on to major record labels. Like there was Premier Music, there was Sony Music, there was EMI. There were quite a number of the foreign big labels around there then, but they weren't really listening to what the street was talking about. You know, so they were pretty much thinking, you know, once your music is not Fuji, is not Juju, is not reggae like Mandatos, like Majek for Shek, like it wasn't Nigerian and it wasn't going to fly. But we DJ on the road, I mean, on the street, and we knew what people wanted to listen to. But the big record labels that were around at that time were guilty of not listening to
yeah.
They don't know what was going on the street. We were doing all the roadblock, all the street carnivals, and we could see the talents that were on the street. But you don't go near their doors. You know, they wouldn't let you in. So it got to a point where artists just felt like, look, we need to take charge of this. And then all that independent process of putting music out started, you know, and I probably just give credit to, you know, Storm Record for, you know, taking that bold step at that time, signing Junior and Pretty and making tapes. We were selling those tapes from the trunk of our cars in those days, you know, because that's the only way you could get the music around. We couldn't really make the vinyl because the process was more expensive than what an independent label could you know, do at that time. So I think that started it, you know. Guys just started feeling like maybe, you know, if I can just make a few thousands of my tapes and go around and get people to, you know, buy that. And that started maybe early in the early 90s like that.
The music has always been good. The music has always been great, from even be it Fuji, be it Juju music, reggae, it has been fantastic. I was pretty much a fan all these times of the artists that I watch on TV. And I think I would say I actually started listening more during the Kenny's music time.
Okay.
Because after Storm Music, Storm Records did all the Junior and Pretty time, then it was a time for Kenny's music, and they came with like them Two-Face, Remedies, and stuff. Two-Face was with Plantation Boys. And so at that point, I was still in secondary school. I was like, yo, they're putting like a little bit of swag into this now. This might work. I started taking notes of the music, and it started shaping me towards what I would like to do. But then there was no way for me to do that here. I had the opportunity to travel to the UK, and I lived in the UK in the early 2000s. So I would say that's where my own musical journey actually now kicked off. 2004, 2004, that was when I was like,
over.
Yeah, well,
just use the right English. You took, then that was when you came.
Yeah, we decided to come in and try.
Don't be modest now, Jazzy.
We decided to wait. We decided to come into the industry at that point and try. What it was like there was great music. So myself and my then partner, which was the band, we decided to come in and put the cool factor to it. I was pretty much like working with some bands in the UK, like Nigerian bands in the UK. I used to be a part of a group called Jazzy and 419 Squad, and we had like a studio in the UK where we had different groups of guys coming together to make music. So at some point, the band came through from Nigeria, and he has heard about Jazzy and 419 Squad from Nigeria. So when he came into the UK, he looked for us. That was around the same time I met Dr. Seed as well. When he came to the UK, he looked for us, and he came through to the studio, and we clicked, and we decided to work on an album. At that time, it took us 2 weeks, and we worked on his first album. But I looked at the market. I looked at the Nigerian music scene in the UK at that time. I was like, okay, we just made like a brilliant piece of work, but then the people that we need to consume this music, they are back home in Nigeria. So why are we here? Is going to be pretty much difficult for us to sell it to them over here in Nigeria. Why not come back home? And I noticed that by the time we came down here, our music just sounded a little bit more quality than the ones that we met. The contents were great, but then the production was not really fantastic. So at that point, I think I had an edge over like a lot of other producers because of like the software or the technical know-how that I had coming from the UK. And I had a fantastic artist, which was the band. He's relentless. He's like, he doesn't take no for an answer, and it just clicked, and it worked pretty much for us. At this point, it was myself and the band, but then since we started getting a little bit popular, a lot of artists started coming up to us, okay, how do you guys do it? Can we join you? And stuff like that. So I decided to actually turn from a production company more like to like a record label and get some other artists signed on. And that was the point where I got in One Day Cole, Dr. Seed became official, and my younger brother, which was the Prince, we just put him in there at that point. And the band's younger brother, which was K-Switch, we got him in as well, and we recorded the CV album, which went on to be one of the greatest albums of all time in Afrobeats as well. From there, growing the talents, it just started becoming this huge empire. It just started becoming realistic. Like now, the music has started paying bills. Now the fans have started they were now comfortable to come out as fans of Afrobeats or Afrobeat stars. It wasn't really called Afrobeat at that point in time. Then it was just Nigerian music. It was pretty much.
When you say Afrobeat and everybody goes back to Fela and compare what's going on now and say this wasn't what Fela was talking about, I'm like, look, I don't even know how that came about that would now refer to the music as Afrobeat.
Look, Afrobeat is created by one man, and it's a specific sound. It is actually a specific sound. But when you
and we don't sound like that.
And we don't sound
you don't
like
sound
that.
like
when
that.
You bunch it up together, everybody's happy to say, yeah, I'm an Afrobeats artist. Do you know what I mean?
Sometimes we can do that Afrobeat sound, but then most of the time that's not actually what we do.
Music is meant for different times.
Yeah,
I mean, it's like opening, having a supermarket and having just milk.
So
You should have cheese, have butter, and have bread, so people can have variety and say, so.
Not everybody can come out and become a preacher. Sometimes we do that, but not like full in your face, conscious fighter, whatever. People want to have fun. People want to dance. While some people are trying to make you consciously aware of what is going on in the struggle and stuff like that, there should be other people that are actually trying to keep you happy while you're going through those struggles. That is where we come in. Okay, we know you are struggling. We are all struggling together. I'm struggling. Everybody's struggling. We have a problem in the country. But then sometimes we need that peace of mind. Get away and dance.
In as much as we appreciate the fact that there's recognition for our music as Afrobeat, I still think really sometimes lumping everyone into one genre.
Isn't official yet.
It's not official. I think it's limiting when we start to generalize our music in one, under Afrobeat. Because now, under the same Afrobeat, you then have people doing dance music. Doing, rappers are there, R&B artists are there, and they're all classified as Afrobeat. And I think that's not, so if I'm playing hip-hop, it should be hip-hop, but by a Nigerian artist. But it falls under that hip-hop category. If it's R&B, it's R&B by a Nigerian artist. For us not to even limit ourselves within that universal space, and so that my music can be nominated. If it's R&B, it can be nominated under R&B category in any in any part of the world. Do you understand what I'm saying? As against, this is Afrobeat, and it limits you, or everything that comes from Nigeria now says is Afrobeat. There are reggae artists there.
Yeah.
And then they still call Afrobeat.
They still call it Afrobeat.
And these are reggae artists that can be on the stage. They can be on the stage in Jamaica. Yeah. You understand what I'm saying? So why are they being restricted? I think that particular song pretty much opened a whole lot of doors in terms of where I still call it Nigerian music is.
It's possible to get.
I think Oliver Twist did a whole lot in terms of major worldwide. Oliver Twist was, what you would take from Nigeria, like you would take Gangnam Style from.
Yeah.
And then you take.
It happened.
That's what he did at the time.
With Oliver Twist, it's not like we just created music like we normally create down here in Nigeria, and whether you like it or not, they decided to release in the UK, and boom. You understand? So we can keep creating. Look at the way Drake jumped on that with Joe Legba now. Yeah, I'm sure Wizkid was just doing his regular music the way he does it. And he did what he did. So if we get more popular songs like that, I think at some point the more like the major artists, A-list artists will feel comfortable trying to experiment a little bit more.
And talking of Wizkid, I just passed you this to mention. What do you think of One Dance?
I like it personally. I'm such a huge fan of Wizkid from time, and I think it's a beautiful song. I would have loved to hear more of him on the track. Well, I don't know what they tried to do, what Drake or whatever tried to do. I don't know why they gave him. He's such a beautiful artist. I don't know why they gave him just that little part. But whatever it is still recognition for us. My boy is sitting on #1. On the Billboard chart now, and with that, a bunch of people, I've been watching some interviews, a bunch of Americans are just talking and they're just calling his name like he's the boy next door. Really, see, if that's what it takes to get somebody there, then fine.
I think it's getting to that point where people are now, appreciating the fact that they need to collaborate with artists from here as well.
Yeah.
As against before, when it was some desperate move by artists from here trying to collaborate with whoever. Yeah. And I'm not saying A-list. Some artists that the artists will be shocked like, how did you know about me? Some artists that haven't made music in forever.
So sometimes most of these Western artists or American artists, sometimes they actually want you, they'll call you, they believe, you have something that they like, and they'll call you to come and try something else. Like a bunch of people that I have tried to work with or that have tried to work with me, I don't think, at the end of the day, I think they chicken out because they're not, I'm serious, they're not really, it's different. They're not really ready for the sound change. Like that, if they are really, if they can beat their chest and say, yes, I want to do this, I want Afrobeat, as they call it, whatever, I can give you that. But then don't start telling me to tweak it and tweak it and tweak it, then it now changes back to your sound. You understand? I can give you your sound, but then I will now be no different from a Timbaland or a Pharrell or whatever. But then you called me for something, but then when I reach there and I try and give you my sound and I want you to do your thing on top of it to give this sound some wider recognition, at some point the chicken, and I don't know if it's the air now or the record label at the top later on that listens to the sound and be like, you know, we're not really ready for this switch drastically like that or whatever. I think they're still scared.
Also, it's also looking at the growth of the industry from where Jimmy Jatt had mentioned that we're coming from, and to where we are now. We've got to the point where the production is on point.
Yeah.
The quality of the production is great.
Yeah.
The quality of the videos can stand toe to toe with anything around the world. What we just need is to be able to get the music
On bigger platforms.
On bigger platforms. Do you know what I mean? Proper global distribution, proper placement on radio, proper radio plugging. Like people can actually, if you wanna break the sound, you can actually just say, you know what, every day on BBC One Extra or Hot 97 or whatever, we're gonna play you music from Africa. Do you know what I mean? Because that is the new sound. It's taking longer for the world to actually recognize it, but that is the new sound. Dance is there, electronic music is there, hip hop is there, but the African sound is different. It's groovy. It makes you want to move constantly. Do you know what I mean? And that's the new sound. And you can see infusions of that coming in a lot of songs, more songs than you actually know are having African influences. And we, like Jonathan said, we're very proud of Wizkid. Like what he's doing and what he's done has actually put Nigerian music on the map. People talk about Wizkid, like he said, like he's the boy next door. So tomorrow it'll be Davido. Next tomorrow it'll be Corey DeBello, Tiwa Savage. Do you know what I mean? There Shay. There are all these artists that are actually getting recognized now for the music that they do in Africa. You understand? But for me, the most important thing is that the sound and the core element of the sound remains African.